Betty, go ahead and let me know when you're ready.
Yeah,
The polls.
it looks like 82% of our participants today are creating branded content.
That's fantastic. Wow, that's great to hear, isn't it, Betty?
Yeah, more than I expected, so that's awesome.
Yay. Wonderful. Well, we have a really great webinar in store for everyone today. Betty and I decided to share this with you, and we have a really wonderful special guest. So without further ado, we'll move into showing the rest of everyone. Do you still have the poll up, Betty?
No.
Okay. There we go. A little technical difficulty, but I got through it. All right, so meet your host. Betty, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Betty Gabai. I'm the CMO at Zentap. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Zentap, we provide the most effective automated marketing tools to ensure that real estate agents like James stand out in today's very competitive landscape. So our company was founded on the premise of creating software as a service to help agents with their digital marketing efforts. We have a multitude of products through our dashboard for creating unlimited branded content, including local market reports, listing videos, marketing videos, testimonials, and more. And then we also do social media posting, agent websites, lead generation, and we constantly add new products. We just added email templates just to make sure agents have everything they need in one place. So a little about me, I have over 20 years of marketing experience on the client side and on the agency side. And then my husband is actually a real estate broker, so I've learned a lot about what agents need through him. I have a bachelor's from UCLA, and I now teach classes there at UCLA. And I love being with Zentap, and I've been here for over 2 years. So just some housekeeping about today. We have a chat feature. If you guys look to your right, there should be a little pop-up window if you have any questions. There's also a questions tab where you can put your questions in. We will be answering questions at the end of the webinar, but you can go ahead and put your questions in there if you're worried you're going to forget, and we'll get to it then. And then we will be sending a recording of the video to everybody by tomorrow. So you don't have to worry about taking notes. If you want to just sit back, relax, and listen, you will be receiving a recording of the video as well. So thank you for your time, and we are excited to get started.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Betty. And by the way, my name is Rachel Galloway, and I'm the marketing director at Zentap. I've been in digital marketing for almost 11 years now and have worked with a variety of different companies in different sectors, but I've always focused on branded content and establishing the brands that I worked with in the marketplace. And so I come to Zentap with that background, and have also won an award for a branded video for products and services. So very much into creating branded content and helping all of you create branded content to dominate your marketing. And we also have our special guest, James Festini, who is a realtor and also a Zentap client. And James, if you just want to go ahead and say hello to everyone real quick.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? I can also see the chat, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see the chat.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to this. This is my jam.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, we're very excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, James.
Sure thing.
All right. Move into our agenda real quick and keep this going so none of you feel like we're lagging here. As promised, we are going to talk about how to create branded content. Then we're going to move into how to provide value through the branded content that you create. And then we will be speaking with James, and he's going to be handling insider marketing tips. And we will finish off with our Q&A today. All right, so how to create branded content. Real quickly, before we dive into this, Betty, can you go ahead and launch the second poll about the branded content? And just let everyone engage with that for just a moment. And Betty, will you go ahead and let me know what the results of that are when we're done?
Okay, so 100% say they know a little.
A little. All right, cool. Well, hopefully through today, and you're going to know a little bit more, if not a lot more. And we're always here to help. So, you know, definitely feel free to reach out to us after this webinar if you still want or need help. So we'll move into how to create branded content. Now, what is branded content? Seems like most of you at least have a general understanding of that, but how is it different from just content is what I want to cover here. Betty, did you know that according to the Custom Content Council, 61% of consumers say that they feel better about and are more likely to buy from an agent that delivers branded content?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because I feel that, you know, when you have that professional looking content that we'll get into, you're going to stand out and you're going to set yourself apart.
Absolutely. So what is branded content? Branded content is any type of content. It can be your banner image, social media posts, on local market updates, informative content. It can also be articles, blog posts, videos, podcasts, infographics. Pretty much any other type of format of content that you can deliver can be branded. And you know, and just to further define, how is it different from content? I don't think I really fully clarified that. Content, branded content versus regular content is the sense that you're not tying your brand to it. So if you post something and it's just say a local market snapshot, but it is not having your branded colors, you don't have your picture in it, it's not going to resonate the same as, say, some of the examples that I'll show for you in the few slides. Okay, so here I have two different Facebook posts. Real quickly, which one appeals to you most? In the chat feature, if you could all let me know if it's the one on the left or right that appeals to you. And Betty, can you go ahead and let me know the answers to that when they finish, please?
Yeah, I don't know if they can see your slides, Rachel.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
All right. Are people seeing these now?
Yeah, we could see it now.
Okay. So just really quickly back up here. I think that I accidentally paused this. My apologies to everybody. But here we go. Real quickly, this was the what is branded content and how is it different? And then here we are. So these are the two Facebook posts. Which one appeals to you more, the one on the left or the one on the right? What sort of answers are we getting here, Betty?
The one on the right.
Fantastic, yes. And you know, the reasons why, I'm sure, as you all know, appeal to you more. One, the picture is a little bit better, but there's also that branded element. So when you're scrolling through your feed, the one on the right is going to stand out a little bit more. It's going to make you want to kind of look at it and digest it rather than just scroll over. You know, the one on the left could be, you know, a garage sale for all that you know, it really isn't defining if it's a house for sale or not. And, you know, as a real estate agent, you know that first impressions last. So branded content is memorable in creating branded recall. It's 59% higher for branded content than other, that is. So branded content drives consumer intention, and things that are more appealing tend to stand out from the clutter and noise that we must, as consumers, tune out since we are always being marketed to. Here we have the click-through rate on branded content. As you can see, branded content also drives clicks when which result in more sales. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you're posting more branded content, you're going to be seen by more people, and more people are going to be clicking on what you are saying to see what you have to say further. How to create branded content. Before you actually put the pen to paper or the mouse to your laptop, you want to do these 3 things. You want to identify your values. What is your North Star? Who are you? What is your message? This is what you want to apply to everything that you're creating. Then you also want to provide value. Relate to your brand, relate to your consumers, offer content that is going to educate them and make you be the local market pro. Position yourself as the local market pro and the go-to agent. And then you also want to share immersive content. And immersive content should create a sensory experience. It taps into drawing emotion from your content in addition to providing value. So you're selling an experience. For instance, James, he sells an experience, and he'll go into that a little bit more. But you know, if you're a luxury agent, you're going to use that verbiage when you're posting. The images that you post are going to have that luxury feel, and so on and so forth. And here are some examples of branded content. What makes them branded is, as you can see here, we have the branded colors that are consistent throughout all of this. There is the name, the agent picture. As you can see, the headshot doesn't vary. If you have a new headshot, you should definitely update it throughout all of your content. That way, that image that you are portraying to people is very consistent, concise, and they'll always know that is the person that I want to speak to. You can create content in a number of ways like this. There is things like Photoshop, Canva, and other platforms to use. But you know, as we all know, creating content can be very time consuming as well. And if you don't have that time to create it or the skill and know-how, then you know, we also offer, Zentap offers unlimited branded content for people that do not have the time or the skills to create this branded content. These examples right here you see on your screen right now are all different types of content that you can create from within the Zentap dashboard. And here's a few more types of branded content. On the left, you'll see a local market snapshot. We actually have, Betty, how many different data points are they able to pull from? It's like
over 30, and they vary from average price per square foot, number of homes sold, median listing price, median sold price, how many days on market, and it goes on and on and on.
Fantastic. Yeah. So then also we have here this is actually James' post, and he has the Yorba Linda market update. and that's showcasing a number of different things. And then there's also a branded infographic on the right that helps with engaging with your audience and, you know, evoking that emotion. And real quickly, I'm going to exit out of here, and I just want to quickly show you all how easy it is to create branded content from within the Zentap dashboard. So real quickly, when you log into the Zentap dashboard, you can go and you just quickly click on the area that you say you want to create a single data snapshot from, and this is all the different data points Betty was talking about. Right now we have 3 styles, but we're always adding to them. And in here, you can quickly add a caption that will be posted to the social channels that you have selected for auto posting. And as you can see, there's also the branded colors that you can adjust it if you feel like doing, although I wouldn't suggest changing it. And then in just a few quick seconds here, after you hit create content, voila, it's ready for you to download in the dashboard and post automatically, or download and you can add it to an email, you can add it to any sort of messaging. You know, if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook Messenger and you have something that, like, say you have one of these local market data points on the left, or anything really, you could download it from the dashboard and upload it into a chat to just add that value to whatever it is that you're trying to offer to the people that you're speaking to at that very moment. But it's super easy, isn't it, Betty?
Yeah, it just really takes a few minutes once you get the hang of it.
100%. But real quickly, did anyone have any questions about branded content that are just kind of quick to answer? If not, we'll handle all of that in the Q&A. Is anyone saying anything, Betty?
No, we're good.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad. All right, so let's move on to how to provide value with branded content. Betty?
So I'm gonna ask you guys, just as far as your marketing efforts, what is the most challenging? Is it creating the content, finding time to post, or both of those things? You could just take this quick poll. This is our last poll. Okay, so all of the above. Oh, okay, now more people are answering. So it looks like for most people, it's still all of the above, but hopefully some of these tips will help. Okay, so how do you provide value with branded content? You know, again, it's by asking people what it is and providing information. So providing valuable information to your users. Rachel, next slide.
Sorry, my finger was a little slow.
Okay, so real estate agents, as you're aware, don't just sell homes, but really they sell an experience, and you want to become a broader resource. You want to provide value constantly and be top of mind. Buying a home or even selling a home isn't something that happens often. So you want to make sure to keep people engaged so that when the time comes, and they're ready to do that, you are the person that comes to mind. And you can do that by providing them information that's relevant to their community, their local community. You know, this type of content is great, but we also do suggest, and we'll get into the calendar that we are going to give you, to post about the local community, restaurants, new establishments, the school in your area, anything you can do to provide them with useful tips and information so they see you as a resource, events, concerts, things that are happening so that you're constantly able to be top of mind. And then, you know, when you think about the content, it's not that you have to spend the time and you make this content and you post it once and then you're done. You can really use that same content on different platforms and just alternate the time of when you're posting it. So what's happening, especially with Facebook and Instagram, is that the organic reach on those platforms has become very minimal. They want people who have a business to pay for advertising so that they're seen by more people. And if you want to do that, it's gonna get, you know, it's gonna tap into your budget. So you don't have to just post it on Facebook and forget about it and think that that piece of content is no longer useful. You can use it in emails. You could post it in Facebook groups. You could add it to direct messages like Rachel mentioned. You could post it on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Just alternate the time that you're posting it so you're not regurgitating the same thing at the same time. But it's very unlikely that the first time you post something, all your followers are even going to see it. So it's okay to use that same content and repurpose and repost.
And here's some examples of the reposting.
Yeah, so here is, you know, the same type of content, and this is posted on Instagram, and then a couple of days later on Facebook, and then the local snapshot with a few more data points is posted on LinkedIn. And it really works interchangeably. And through, you know, the dash, you're able to select which platform, and it adjusts the sizes accordingly as well. And here's just a content schedule sample for June. So you could see that some of this content is being repurposed. So when you map things out in this type of view for the month, you know, we suggest to all of our clients, and we do this ourselves as well for our social media content, is to do this in a calendar format so it's not as overwhelming. You can have things mapped out, and it may take a little bit of planning at the end of the month to prepare for the following month, but doing this does save you a lot of time in the long run. And then as you can see from this calendar, where you see repost is where you can go in and pepper it up in the reports and repost it to other content platforms, to other platforms. And we're going to give you a sample schedule for the month of June that has specific dates like Father's Day and other holidays to help you get started on your June calendar so you're not starting from scratch.
Right, exactly. So I was just going to read this. Sorry, Betty. You can't expect to be an expert in creating social media images overnight. And as Betty and I both know, this is 100% true.
Yeah, there are tons of tools out there. Don't get discouraged. We all start from somewhere, and we can help you if you need help. And, you know, let's speak to our guest, James, who uses Zentap to deliver branded content along with a lot of his own methods that he's come up with that have been very successful. So James, I am going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to actually share with you guys a lot of that repurposing. I think one of the biggest obstacles for real estate agents is trying to come up with content to share on a consistent basis. And I've grown my Instagram following to about 12,000 now, and then YouTube and Facebook and other social platforms, they live off of your ability to share hyper local content and have it be interesting and share worthy. So I do a real big mix of sharing a lot of personal along with business. The days of being able to go into your Facebook feed and share, here's my latest listing, call me for all your real estate needs, is long gone. I mean, people are not going to subscribe to it. And one of the problems, well, a big problem an agent would have in this industry is trying to come up with creative content to pepper in between what sort of information locally is going to be worth people's time to stop for, and how do you create on a consistent basis. I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk, if any of you guys follow him, he recommends, I think the last I heard was like 40 pieces of content a day, or I mean, it's something ridiculous. It seems mind-blowing. Even 4 pieces of content a day for some people might seem as if you're spamming, but when you do it on social, there's so many different algorithms that put you in front of people's faces that you couldn't share enough content to annoy anybody, because it's just the way, for example, Facebook works is years ago you would show up at the top of the stream, and now it's more of a popularity contest that rises you to the top. So with Zentap, I integrate a lot of their really beautiful art and design. If you pull up, some of the sample templates, when I do get a new listing, what's really slick is that Zentap will put together these cool little frames and slideshows and pieces that are designed to fit inside of not just Facebook in that square frame, but they'll also do it for a vertical platform, as you can see on the screen here, where something like that fits more inside of platforms like, well, Snapchat. I don't know if many of you guys use it, but definitely Instagram stories. So it's in your best interest to learn the content that, or learn the syndication of this content for multiple platforms. I think that's one of the biggest downfalls in the real estate business, is not only creating the content, which Zentap creates killer content. I mean, it's beautifully branded. It's got my color schemes. It's got my whole vibe. You can, make sure it's got, for example, if you're with Century 21 or Coldwell Bank or whatever company you're with, they have color palettes to line up with what your personal brand is going to be. Me, I'm with EXP, but I like the browns and the golds and the grays. So I design, or have them design, most of my content automatically to be these earthy colors. It's just the way I like it, in grays. So as you can see, the one in the middle, that one being designed for a story, Instagram story, but the Instagram story only sits there for 24 hours. But if they create another piece which is designed for the Instagram feed, again, hopefully I'm not even losing you guys on this sort of platform varieties, but give you a quick crash course so you understand. Inside of Instagram, there are 2 places where your content lives, technically 3 or 4 if you count Reels. There's the feed, which is at the very top of your Instagram. You're going to see these little circles along the top. That's the storyline. That's a whole nother area where people see this content. And most of the time it's created vertically, or long ways, like a sideways television set. And inside of that stuff disappears within 24 hours. Then there's the feed, which is the bottom half of the Instagram. If you guys want to pull up kind of an example of what that is, there's these
Yeah.
2 destinations inside. I don't know if there's a slide in there that kind of shows it, but when you create these square images, as you can see down below, we can kind of see just above these 3 images, there's posts, there's reels, there's Instagram TV and tagged. When you create beautiful art that people will, I call it art. To me, it's digital art. When you see some of these templates, you automatically have to start training yourself to imagine where this is going to go to. Like, for example, I'm looking at this example of branded content. That one in the middle, that's a square, to me, that immediately transfers into an Instagram post. that goes into the feed. Those feeds are evergreen, well, not evergreen, but they stay there forever. They don't disappear into the 24-hour format. If you set up your Instagram properly so that when Zentap posts something in there, it'll automatically post it into Facebook, which you also have a function in there where you auto post to Facebook, right? You can send it to
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
So same thing with Facebook is that at the top, you're going to see those little circles. That's the feed. That's a 24-hour placeholder for anything you want. You can dump as much as you want in there. And then there's the feed below, which are the squares and the longer staying stories. Facebook also owns Instagram. So knowing these two destinations will help you understand when Zentap creates a piece of content, where you're going to share it to. And if it's attractive or it's something that you like, there's an interesting topic, especially if it's hyper local, that you can repurpose that content. If you see a story locally, or if there's price jumps that they've posted into my storyline, which a lot of times they do it, most of the time they do it automatically. So you kind of got to watch what they post. But if you see something that's even more valuable to you, you can take that and run with it and post it to places like LinkedIn. You can take it and repurpose it into places like Snapchat. A lot of these content creations, again, in this slideshow, you can see each one of these stories, it's not about posting it into one destination and then setting it and forgetting it. It's about taking the May available listings you can see on the slide here, where it's Instagram. They posted that into my feed, into Instagram, but they've also posted it into Facebook, which is, again, the same template repurposed, where I don't think you guys have the studies or the analytics, but each one of these destinations is really going to target a different group. So you could get 10 or 15 views on one and have 0 on another, and then on LinkedIn have it show up with 100 people who view it. That's the beauty about what Zentap is doing for me, is that I don't have to think about the content. I just let it auto post and create. And from there, it's on me to engage in the conversations that come up from this information. But in many cases, people will reach out to you and ask about the value of their house based on something you will post in there. And oftentimes I'll get a direct message inside of Instagram that'll say, hey, I saw your post. That's very interesting. We should talk about it. And I have to go back and see, what did they post for me? Because I don't know exactly which one. And I'll report back to Zentap, let them know that that post actually is what they call sticky, or it attracts a little bit more. And they'll do a lot of the testing on their back end to make sure that the stuff that they create for you kind of that they pay attention to what works so that you don't have to. Having this automation is a huge time saver, especially if you can set it and forget it, but if you take it to the next level and actually engage with the stuff that Zentap creates for you and take it to a conversation, it's absolutely priceless. I really love the vibe that they put out, and it's very consistent. Again, the hyper local stuff with regards to sharing this stuff is, like I said, it's beautiful. So I dig it. I think this is the first time I've really talked about Zentap on a public platform, but people are always asking me, hey man, who created that piece? Who created that little video? The videos, I don't know if you have samples of the videos. It's not just like stale images, but there's a lot of kick butt animated stuff too.
You know what? I can pull up a video, I think. Real quickly, we'll just show one.
Promote.
We'll just do it quickly here. Here's a commercial listing. Actually, this is not a good example.
But it's still pretty cool, even for commercial stuff.
Yeah, we have commercial, residential.
Let's show something a little bit more relevant to what we were talking about here. So this is a great marketing video and a commercial that we are going to watch for just one more second. Sorry about that. So this is one of the commercials that you can actually create and
I'm
share.
not seeing it.
I'm not seeing a video, Rachel.
You didn't see the video?
Oh, now I see it.
Oh, so when I went to full screen, you couldn't see it. Okay. Well, this was, sorry everybody, this is a little impromptu. We didn't, so you can see this example now. All right.
All right. Just yeah, these are all slick little examples. These tiny little snippets, 10, 15 seconds. How many of those do you create automatic? Again, the big thing about this is it's all automated. You don't I don't have to look into it. I don't have to for an agent, it's already hard enough to try to create the content. And then do you have the time to go in there and create like the captions and all that? The beauty of this is, I mean, Zentap, a lot of people think it's just a website company, but that's like the back end of everything that's going on. I'm talking the content creation, these little video snippets are just so content rich, and they're super slick. How often do you post for me without me knowing?
I mean, well, let's see here. We post to each platform. It varies from 3 to 5 times a week.
3 to 5 times a week. So you
So,
automatically go to what platforms?
so to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We post 3 to 5 times a week on each platform for you. And it's not just one thing, it's an assortment of content. So we're posting branded infomercials, local market updates, marketing videos like the one we just showed, um, marketing flyers, then also seller information, buyer information, and a few other things as well. The only things that we don't post for you are things like customer testimonials, which I strongly encourage everyone who is a client to utilize that feature, because and obviously we're not posting those for you, or things like the listing videos, because what review you want to post, and what listing you want to post. So when we can't really be inside your mind on those things, but as far as sharing relevant information and making you look like a local market pro in your social media, as far as that goes, we can do that for you, and we do that for you.
So 3 times a week, 3 to 5 times. I mean, what happens is, again, I go in and I get an email that says, "Hey, Zentap has posted this piece of content for you." So most of the time, I don't even know it's happening, right? And when I tap on it, I notice that when it goes to LinkedIn, for example, it appears as, yeah, it's 3 to 5 times a week, but the ability to like auto approve and have this content be very specific to my niche, and have it especially in my region, uh that's what a lot of agents are probably going to be most interested in here, is the active, well, you have it on the screen, the active prospecting, but the active marketing, where Zentap creates the content that's hyper local to you, and it automatically posts it. So it's almost like setting and it's a dangerous thing to do, but to set your social media efforts on autopilot. A lot of agents will go out there and they'll say, "Oh, I need a Facebook page, right? A business page." And they open up this page and then nothing happens, right? They'll post one thing every 3 months when they get a listing or a sale. But it's the equivalent of opening up a pizza parlor and only opening, once every 2 or 3 months. What's the point? If you have, for example, your feed inside of Facebook, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but inside of Facebook, you have your main feed. That's where everything that you create goes to. But as a real estate agent, you also want to have what's called a page, which is another feed. But when you do that, it's like it's the different, it's going back to the pizza analogy. It's like opening up two pizza parlors right next to each other and focusing mostly on one and never paying attention to the other one and creating the content in there. So what I personally am doing is I'm allowing Zentap to create the content inside of my Facebook page, which imagine that as like a website for your Facebook business. And they create the hyper local interesting content and the variety of, you know, here's how the market's doing, top 10 tips to clean up before your house is selling, all the other fun stuff, so that I don't have to go in 2 to 3 times a week and make sure that I open up the shop. They're kind of keeping it open for me. And then when I get a new listing or a new sale or something exciting, maybe I see an update on the marketplace and in another local website or a blog or something interesting, then I can supplement my action into there. What a lot of real estate agents do is they'll open up the site and they'll ask people, like my page, but you'll never see me like another real estate agent's page because nobody's doing anything with it. It's like, come see my, come to my pizza parlor, and then you drive out there, you show up and it's closed, and every time you get there, it's closed. Zentap helps me keep that shop open so that if somebody is searching inside of Facebook for my business, they will not only see my hi, here's my new listing, but they'll also see a variety of other content, which is blended with again, the hyper local thing. Real estate is geographically contained, so we've got to make sure that it's not only timely, but that it's relevant to your area. And when Zentap creates this content, it makes it look like I'm doing it. I'm super high tech. Like, I do my own audio and video. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel. I have a vlog that I create my own content and videos. So I understand the level of effort it takes to create content in the real estate realm and how time consuming it is. When I first discovered Zentap, they didn't call me. I called them. When I stumbled on them, I said, okay, you guys can save me a ton of time in all of these stupid little videos that I'm struggling to create. You already have it. Oh, and you do my website? I mean, we haven't even talked about the advertising features that Zentap has, but the Facebook ads and running the Facebook ads to generate actual listings. This is all active marketing or active prospecting when you're reaching out to the community and at least putting yourself up in the public space so that people can find you. Real estate is a popularity contest, and the only way you get popular in high school is doing cool things, right? You have to actually be there. There's no popular kid who doesn't go out and share or contribute to society. Zentap helps me be a digital mayor of sorts. Gary Vaynerchuk, I like him. He recommends that you become the ambassador of your city, and the only way to become an ambassador of the city is to share in the community your knowledge and experience of what's happening there. You couldn't do that on your own and be a real estate agent because you'd have to spend all of this time researching and putting together all of this information. Zentap does it automatically. So on the screen it says active prospecting, but it's very passive marketing in that you be there and be everywhere on all of these social platforms so that when the consumer seeks you out, especially like the YouTube space, you guys also make the content. So you don't share to YouTube, right? But you make the content that I can share to YouTube, right?
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you do is you create these cool little videos. If you're like, oh, I wish I had a YouTube channel, what are you going to create? At least start with the content that Zentap creates, and you can download these little videos and then upload them to YouTube, and automatically now you're sharing these videos. I mean, so YouTube is a video platform, but even if you just grab the videos that they create, you can create a YouTube channel based on your knowledge of real estate and what they do. So how often do you guys update like the market stats? That's also another thing I know agents are super curious about is
Well, the stats are in, they're monthly. We get
monthly.
reports from the different sites. So every month you could, at the end of the month, you could pull monthly stats for the previous month.
Right.
And one thing, I loved your pizza store analogy, James. It's really like right on point, because even if you're creating your page and you're thinking, okay, I have my business page, and when I've got information to share, I'll share it. That's not going to be effective because Facebook has this algorithm, as does Instagram and all of the social media platforms. They have an algorithm where they rank what content they're going to show on people's feeds when you log in. And they want to show content that's relevant to you. And how do they know if content is relevant? They want to make sure that you're posting frequently and that
Right.
people are engaging with those posts. So, right, they're in the business of making money. And the way they make money is for people to spend more time on the site. And they'll spend more time when they see, oh, what is that James posted? It's a market report. Let me click on it. Let me comment on it. Let me share. So now I'm engaging with James's content, and Facebook is keeping track of that. So next time I log in, James's content is going to appear at the top of my feed and I'm going to see it versus, if Rachel is posting once every month or once every 3 months, I'm not going to see Rachel's content because Facebook knows that, oh, Rachel's content's not as relevant to Betty. She isn't even engaged in it. So she prefers James's content over Rachel.
Yep. And if you guys aren't being productive as agents, there's still something to be said about being present as an agent, So
Yeah.
maybe you're not getting a bunch of sales, maybe you don't have a lot of content to create for listings. But when a consumer goes out to find you, if you're not at least like waving your real estate flag online, not once a week, that's unacceptable, right? If you're a full-time real estate agent, you need to be creating one piece of content a day minimum. Like even if it's just you getting into your car to go to the office and you turn, and I'm a big vlogger. I like to create, the video content, share my character and personality and lifestyle and the life, day in the life kind of stuff. Even if it's just going into the office saying, good morning, everybody, I'm heading to the office today, I'm going to make my calls. Even if you don't make your calls, even if you don't do anything, say, I'm going into the workplace today. It's going to, hustle and grind. That's what I do in real estate. If anybody, it's, if you can't be found, you won't be hired, and your social media presence doesn't have to be overbearing and obnoxious. If it's not in your character to be uh, a social individual, you're going to be competing with those who are. You're gonna have to get out of your shell. I'm extremely antisocial. You wouldn't know it by looking at my content, but you put me in a room full of people, unless they're talking to, unless like I'm on stage talking, I'm in a corner hiding with my beer because I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm extremely antisocial and get nervous in crowds. I just don't like it. But on the social platform, I have to get out of my shell, and you find
Keyword
things
social.
that are interesting so that people can. What was that?
I was just saying keyword social.
Social. Yeah. You can be antisocial and share on the socials. If you're not into what people are talking about, there's always something that you can be interested in. If you're the leader of the PTA, or if you're part of the booster club, or if you're into, German shepherds, even that can help you along with filling in the gaps in between the Zentap stuff. I mean, again, it's the recommendation is at least once a day you put something out there. But if everything you put out there is real estate related, they don't get to know you. And nothing in the industry, it's been an evolution, but nothing has changed in its core. The newspaper turned into the website and Facebook. The radio turned into podcasts, and the television turned into YouTube channels. platforms 25 years ago, 27, 29 years ago, when I started in this business, you would have to spend thousands of dollars to get into the newspaper, to the radio, and into the television set. Now, for free, you can advertise. You've been given the license to create this content, to expose yourself out there. The thing that hasn't changed is still know, like, and trust. Those are words that haven't changed from the beginning of this industry. To know, like, and trust you. If they don't get to know you, they're never going to like or trust you. If they don't get to know you and see your personality, they're never going to get to like you. And if they never get to know you and like you, they're never going to trust you. This business, although in well, my area, the real estate agents, the top couple of agents in there, they don't do what I do in the exposure of social media. But I just won a $1.6 million listing, which is, I'm trying to break into that $1 million price point, right? That's why I moved here 6 years ago, to try to break into that price point. And these individuals, this homeowner, interviewed several agents, and then I came back for a second interview. If you look at my average sales price, it was probably between 6 and 9. And so they knew, and they told me when I finally got the job, they said, James, we realize that this is not your price point, but what we also realize is that you are clearly a marketing, that you know your marketing, and we like your personality, and we believe you can sell the house. So I've got it. It's going to close escrow hopefully today, tomorrow. That originated from a cold call, which is a lot of what I do, prospecting. But it was the support of my Zentap in creating this content that they can go to a website. I mean, we didn't even talk about the websites. I'm not going to have time to talk about the website, but I get complimented all the time. This is a very nice website. This is your digital business card. Although people say you don't really need a website, absolutely you need a website. When someone goes on the internet and looks for you, the first thing they're going to do is, if it's not yourname.com, it's not acceptable for you to take your company's given website, because it's going to send you to outer links. When you create this synergy of content creation and people get to know, like, and trust you, and you share this media, and you have the support system like the Zentap, where they're putting out these marketing pieces, you look like a rock star. And that's how you're going to win this, this game of real estate, is a little bit of everything. To go out there and find the business, but also do the things that on a 24/7 are finding you, so that when people do search you, if they happen to stumble on you and they go to Google or whatever.com and they look for you, they also are going to look for you inside of Facebook. They might look for you inside of Instagram. They might go to Google and say, okay, there's his website, whatever. But on your website, at the very bottom, there more than likely should be, if they're expecting, the expectation of the consumer is way higher than it was when I first started. They're going to go in there and say, okay, great, nice website. I want to know about the person. And there's studies that show the most popular page on a website is the About Me. Everything else is whatever. So when people go to that About Me, and you dare, it's insane how some people actually do put social links there, and they put like YouTube. I'm like, really, YouTube? And I click on it and there's nothing, or it's just like one little thing. Why not allow a company like Zentap to start building at least snippets of something that make you look like you know what you're doing? Again, the inventory the way it is right now, the market the way it is, there's a purge right now in the industry. A lot of agents are going to start dropping like flies. It's in your best interest to be more well-rounded, and that includes active prospecting. If you're into that, I am. Find me if you want to know more. But passive marketing and creating that content so that when somebody does find you, that they don't punch holes in your ability to market and your ability to be a full-time agent. Because there is a clear divide when consumers are interviewing agents. They're not looking for reasons to like you, they're looking for reasons not to like you. And a really good reason not to like you is that you don't do anything. Even if you're not selling real estate, but you're creating content and you're out there hustling. I mean, you'd be surprised how many agents you can see online. They're not selling anything, but they look like they're they're crushing it because they put that out there. Even if you're not closing any sides, you still can definitely expose, you can expose yourself to the planet, letting them know you're a marketing beast. And again, Zentap, I approached you guys when I saw what you're doing because I knew the value of what you do for me. So I went on a rant, but I love you guys, man.
Great stuff.
I thought you out because of what you can do.
Sorry, James. I thought I was supposed to introduce you, and during the introduction, I was going to say that you have been with us since the very beginning. You have been a Zentap client since the very beginning, and even given us feedback about our products and improvements, and we really appreciate that. So You're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be a guinea pig for you guys because it works. An active agent behind the scenes. I really like it when, and that's the good thing about also Zentap is that you listen. You know what I mean? In that I'm in the trenches and a productive agent, and then I come back and I say this isn't working, then it changes. That's incredible. That's the way it should work.
Thank you. So I want to just be respectful of everyone's time because this was supposed to end at 11 and we're almost approaching that time. I posted 2 links in the chat. If any of you want to schedule a social media deep dive session, free session, and you want more info or you need help and you want like specific feedback about your social media and what you're doing, you can use the link that I posted in the chat to do that. And after the call, we'll give you clear action steps that you can take to improve your social media presence. And then also, I posted a link in the chat to the June content calendar. So this calendar has a day-by-day breakdown of things to post, as well as other suggestions. You don't need to become a customer. It doesn't even involve the dash. It's just content so people can get to know you, like James said. Content so people can learn about who you are. Are you into German Shepherds? Are you into sports cars? Are you a luxury agent? People want to know who they're doing business with because it comes down to trust. And this is going to be beneficial. So there's a link to that as well. Also, thank you, Marie. Marie posted that she gets asked about her website all of the time, and we appreciate that. And we have our next webinar scheduled, so if you want to mark your calendars, we'll be sending an email out to everyone, but it is how to prepare a house for a photo shoot and effectively market it on social media. So we have that coming up on July 22nd, and we're doing that in collaboration with another company called Box Brownie, and they are very cool. They have this platform where they offer like image enhancements and virtual staging. So let's say you have a client and they have a home that's empty, but they don't want to spend the money on staging it. Through this company, you take photos and they will virtually stage it for you for very reasonable price. And then that way, when you upload the photos to the MLS, you have these polished photos that people see because that's where people are going to start their home search is online. So very cool vendor. And, we didn't get any specific questions, but again, reach out to us if you have anything specific you need help with. Someone asked about James's last name, so I'm going to post it in the chat right now. James Festini.
Let's just also remind everyone, I know you mentioned it at the beginning, Betty, but we will be sending everyone a recording of this webinar. You should be receiving an email tomorrow with that. And we'll make sure if for some reason you don't get that email, you should, 100,000% you should, but if for some reason you don't, definitely contact us so we can make sure that you do.
Yes, and Veronica, you mentioned you want to hear more about the advertising. Please, that same link, just schedule a quick call, or if you want to put your email in here, we'll reach out to you so that we can tell you more about that as well.
And I just want to say thank you so much again, James. Like, you shared so much valuable information. I hope that all of our attendees enjoyed it, because I certainly enjoyed talking and listening to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would like to ask them to follow me on Instagram and see what I do behind the scenes with Zentap. I do share a ton of that stuff, and most of the
Yeah.
time you can find me at on YouTube. I do a lot of live prospecting. Even after this, I'm constantly, I'm always creating content, but wherever your social is at, I'm probably there. But Instagram is where I'm at right now most of the time. Besides YouTube, I create a ton of content on YouTube. But thank you. I knew that this would be valuable. I just hope people understand the importance of content creation and the value behind it. You know, you can't imagine how amazing it would be to travel back in time and tell everybody that very soon you will have your own television station and your own newspaper and your own radio station. You go back in time and tell real estate agents 30 years ago that they would have access to this, they'd be like, I can't wait. And now we have it at our disposal and we're taking it for granted. As a real estate agent, you really gotta, I say you never wanna have to, but you have to want to. And if you can find that passion in you to create this content, or at least let someone create it for you, and find an interest in what they're doing and then share that, you're gonna win. This business is I don't know anything else. So I don't know if there's a better option, but this is a fantastic time to be a real estate agent, and having a partner like Zentap just makes it that much more fun. So thank you.
Thank you
you,
so
James.
much. Someone said you are the godfather, James. So
Yeah.
That's my nickname.
All right, well, we're going to end this. Thank you all for attending, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
thank you, everyone.